This is us 3 months after turning this old janky electric car into something that runs purely on fossils. You see, as a kid, I was fascinated by having my own tiny car, and the closest I ever came was flipping Legoland. But that is when the perfect opportunity arose to pick up this beast. Look, outrageous car. So, if you guys want to see how we built this and how we nearly broke the speed limit, make sure you stay tuned. This video is crazy. Oh, it worked! Yay, worm. Can't do that voice. Alright lads, we have just picked up this incredible Fiat, and so the very first thing to do was just to get it into the garage so we could see what was working and what wasn't. But on further inspection, we thought we were missing a motor, but this is it. That is how the whole car is powered. Let's test the battery and see what it's like. Okay, we're gonna power this battery up. But unfortunately, the battery didn't hold up, so the only option was to send it to next Tuesday. So in wake of this, we added in our own drill battery to hopefully give it some power. Now it is a moment of truth. Let's see, does this work? Just gotta click this button right here. No way, guys. No way. It was a really good feeling. We had this thing actually working. But the next logical thing to do is obviously a speed test. I'm gonna have to have 1 foot out. I'm actually kind of scared. But this thing took off well. We managed to get a top speed of about 5 miles per hour, but this is not gonna cut it. Hell yes, lads, it is time to give that thing that sweet, sweet sound of petrol. But before we get too ahead of ourselves, we're gonna need a frame. So what better place than the mecca of DIY? Here we have our 4 tubings. This is gonna go make our frame. Except it wasn't really that easy. We bent the tubes and we got it all welded together. But the main issue is we didn't actually measure anything. That's so bent. And plus this frame was very weak, so we had to improvise a different strategy. We've stolen a kid's bike and now we've got wheels. So let's go fit them. I do apologise to the kid that I stole this from. He's actually harmless. So next, we created both a drive wheel and a brake wheel, which are crucial for actually driving. All right, lads, for the moment of truth, we have our drive shaft here, and it will spin it, that will brake it. Let's see. This is where it will sit. Oh, look at that. And that is literally perfect. Bear in mind, we haven't measured any of that, so let's get on to the next step. There we go, that is now going to be our chassis and we shall weld it. Indeed it is. So we put that together, we welded on the brakes, and then it was time to actually add the engine. Finally. So here is the engine that we have to power our car. We're going to be using the engine of a generator. And just so we don't waste any of your guys' time, we dismantled the engine. Okay. And then we mounted it onto the frame. And with a lot of back and forth, we eventually got it to work. Okay, that's not too bad. Although we should have done this outside because the room started filling with smoke. But anyway, we now had a working engine, and so we were 1 step closer. But the next step was to prepare the car itself, which included cutting a huge hole out for the engine. There we are. But then eventually we had the engine mounted. Here's the car. The engine comes out a little bit further than the seat, but that's all right. The most important thing is the fuel tank. So we got this right here, and that's going to sit roughly about here. Let's get to building. But in the end, we opted for a different fuel tank, as you can see. Alright, we've got the bonnet off and that's all that's in there. So one of the final things to do was to get this all wired up, but we made sure to put in a few surprises. Complete with a full Bluetooth system, as you can see there. And now it's all linked up to a central switch on the dash. We've even got a little voltmeter here so we can see exactly what the battery's giving us. Lights down here, lights at the back, and then of course the headlights. We've got underneath light strips. We have underneath LED, and that's all from this battery here, which is centrally wired in. Brilliant. So then we could pop back on the bonnet. Then we had to wire in the throttle, and this is so cool. If we look down there, we see that is the throttle. That's going to wire right into this. And you can just simply... Some very interesting car sounds. But anyway, this was coming along so well. All we needed to do was add the seat. 2 easy bolts to take it out if you want to fuel up. Then it was time for the first test. Oh, that fell out. So, ladies and gentlemen, after more months than I'd like to admit, I present to you the fully working Fiat 500. Yes, lads, the engine is pumping. It is time to give it its first test. Oh, fuck. I don't even know how that happened. Maybe it was the idle being too high.
You have to keep revving it a bit to stop it from, like, dying.
But regardless, we got it up again, and it was go time. So how fast actually was this? Well, from here to here is 15.44 meters, and that was done in exactly 1.37 seconds, giving us a total speed of 25.2 miles per hour. Now, considering that came from this, that is extremely impressive.
That's what happens when you put plastic wheels going 30 miles an hour, it doesn't work.
So in version 2, we fixed it up,
New wheels.
and it was time to hit the road again. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you smash like, drop a comment below. I read all my comments. If you have any suggestions, I'd love to know. But apart from that, thanks for all the support, and we'll see you all later.
That's hilarious. I actually love it. As we came driving around, we were like, we're going to go have a look at that.